Hi folks, it's me Michaela and welcome back to my channel. I am here for my quarterly update on my reading goals for 2025. I've been kind of doing a quarterly update instead of a halfway through the year update for 2025 to try and keep myself a little bit more on top of my goals. So this is going to be my review for Q3, which is July, August, and September. So here we are. At the end of 2024, I made a 25 books in 2025 list, as well as a set of reading goals for 2025. And I'm here to see, do I actually read my TBR? Now, I don't have super high hopes for this check-in because if you have been watching my other videos, I did spend a month in the ever-dreaded slump. Okay, so I wasn't doing much reading at all, yet alone reading towards my reading goals and my TBR that I made that I always forget about. I have yet to finish a yearly TBR. There's still books on my 23 books in 2023 that I have still not read. It's a problem. I'm aware. I'm trying to fix it. I want these TBR lists out of my life, but also apparently not enough for me to really remember to do anything about it. Fun. So I have my iPad here, as always, with my lists. Oh, there's the book I'm currently reading, and that's my knitting pattern. Okay, nope, I need my reading lists, okay? 25 books in 2025. I can't quite remember where I was at in my last update, but I feel like I was doing a really good job, if I remember correctly. So we'll go through again this time. Similar to previous, I'll have my little box, okay, with the tally, read and unread for my 25 books in 2025. And then we'll just kind of talk about what my other goals were and how I feel like I'm doing with them. Sure. Coffee. 25 books in 2025. Let's go. The first book I had on my list is The Winners by Fredrik Backman. This is the third book in the Beartown trilogy. Guys, I still haven't read it. It's coming up. I swear it's coming, and I'm going to be reading it 100% before the end of this year. It's going to happen. This is one I'm definitely going to achieve, okay? It's happening. I believe in myself. I first was waiting for the right time, okay? Then it was summer, and Beartown is notoriously set in winter, so it's oh, I don't want to read it then. Then I was in a slump, and now the weather is finally getting cold again. So I feel it's going to be soon. And I'm also, this is the last book in the trilogy, and I am notoriously always at the end of the year desperately trying to finish as many series that I'm in the middle of as I can. So this is gonna happen. We're gonna get there, right? Yes, just moving on from that one right away. The second book on the list is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. This is the second Ernest Cunningham mystery whodunit book. And I'm actually currently reading this book. I'm a third of the way through. So I'm going to mark this one as read because, I don't know, within the next 2 days, it will be read. Checking that one off the list. At least we have made at least one book of progress since since the last quarter. The third book on the list is The Wicked King by Holly Black, which I had already read in a previous quarter. Then I have number 4, which is Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is the 4th Chestnut Springs book, and I actually do have a plan of purchasing this book. Hello? Did my iPad just crap out? Rude. And I am planning to read this in October. That's the plan. I haven't read it yet though. So I was, if you've been watching my videos, I've been working on doing a reread of the first 3 books in Chestnut Springs because I started Chestnut Springs, got to the 3rd book, realized all the characters from Gold Rush Ranch were making little cameo appearances, okay, in Powerless of Chestnut Springs. So then I went back, read all of Gold Rush Ranch, but that took me quite a few months because I'm not a binge read a series kind of person. So then I went back and was well, since I love Chestnut Springs, let me reread the first 3 Chestnut Springs book and then I'll move on in the series. So I have now reread Flawless, Heartless, and Powerless, and so I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready for Reckless, and I'm really excited for Reckless. I just have to buy it. And in September, I just spent so much money that I was just girl, you cannot buy a book right now. Just wait for the budget turnover for October. And so I have. And because I've been reading other books, I just haven't picked this one up yet. But the plan is to buy this in October and read it in October. So this one will get read very soon. But right now it is Not read. Number 5 is A Murderous Relation by Deanna Raybourn. This is the 5th Veronica Speedwell mystery series. What? No. This is not the 5th series. This is the 5th book in the series. The Veronica Speedwell Mystery Series, Book 5, A Murderous Relation. And I have read this book. I did finally read this book recently. I just felt like it was the right moment for that cozy historical mystery that I loved. And it was a really good book, actually. I quite enjoyed it. Number 4 is still my favorite, but this was a really fun read. So the next few books on this list are ones that I have already read, which are Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, read. Number 7, Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Seanan McGuire, already read. And The Goal by Elle Kennedy, already read. Oh, and also Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune, read. So that brings us to number 10 on the list, which is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I did read The Hunger Games. When did I read The Hunger Games? I don't know, a decade ago. When I was in high school, I read The Hunger Games, and I just don't really remember it, because from what I recall, I read basically all 3 books in the span of 48 hours or something. It was very teenage behavior. I could not be doing that right now, but at the time that's what I did. And so because I binge read the books 10 years ago, have never touched them since, I was I don't really remember the details of The Hunger Games, so I should look into that. I should read the books again. And then of course it's the whole Sunrise on the Reaping new book was coming out this year. Did I read any of these books in time for that? No, I still have not read The Hunger Games. In my defense, what is stopping me is it's the beginning of a new series, and again, I'm always trying to finish series, but then because I'm not finishing series, I'm oh, I can't start a new series, and then I don't start the new series, which means I don't read my TBR, because I keep putting books at the beginning of series on the TBR. I set myself up for failure, truly. Number 11 on this, again, I haven't read it yet. It's The Hidden Oracle by Riordan, and again, same scenario. It's because it's number 1 in the Trials of Apollo series. I have not been wanting to start a new series, so I haven't read this book. It's just been cycling through, okay, the Libby loans, and have not read it. Eeps. Number 12 on the list is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is number 1 of the Stormlight Archive. Guys, I've said it before, I've said it again. I don't know what state of mind led me to put this book on my yearly TBR. Who was I when I wrote that down and thought it was something I was going to achieve? I want to read it. I do. But, have you seen any of the Stormlight Archive books? So that's my thing with that. I still have to finish reading Mistborn Era 2 as well, just because, I have a rule for myself, which is, I don't know, it's a little bit of a silly rule, but it's a rule I have in place to try and keep myself in check with my other goals of wanting to read my TBR and wanting to read the series that I'm currently reading and not have too many series that I'm in the middle of, is that I'm only allowed to read one series by an author at a time. So, if I'm reading Mistborn Era 2, I can't start reading Stormlight Archive until I finish that current series. Or, up to date, if it's, an ongoing one. Anyway, I feel you get it. I just don't want to be in the middle of 2 series by the same author at the same time, just because if it's the same author, it's going to be the similar writing style, which I have nothing against, obviously. I read authors all the time because I like their writing style, but it means that I'm probably not likely going to make too much progress in either of those series very quickly, versus if I'm only in the middle of one series by that author, I'm gonna make it through that series quicker and then I can move on to the next quicker, versus trying to split that into 2 and then it's just going to take longer to do. It's just a rule that my brain made, and I listen to my brain for some reason. Number 13 on the list is One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune, which I had read in a previous update. I then have number 14, Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, which I have not read yet. This is another one where I'm kind of getting the itch to read it soon. So maybe this one will also happen in the fall months, potentially. We'll see, but as of right now, it is not read. I then have another couple of books that I have read from previous updates, have The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennet, which I read, and The Martian by Andy Weir, which I read. Number 17 on this list is The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop, and I have read this book. I feel like I read this quite a while ago, so I must have read this very soon after making my last quarterly update for it to not be ticked off on here. But a very good memoir, very interesting read, and I read it in like one day. Just sat down and read it because it's relatively short. I think it was like less than 250 pages on my iPad, so I kind of just was like, yeah, let's zoom through this. Thank you, Kelly Bishop. So then we have number 18 on the list, Sociopath by Patric Gagne. I have read this one recently, guys. I'm taking up another book from the list. Yes. So with having read Sociopath, I have actually read all of my nonfiction goals for the year, because the third nonfiction that I put on this list is number 19, which I had read before, which is The Wager by David Grann. Then I have like another good list of, I ticked those off the list. I've read them kind of books. We have number 20, The Wedding People by Alison Espach, one of my favorite books of this year. So good. Then I have 21, The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, which I did read. I would be interested in rereading The God of the Woods, because I feel like at least I don't want to blame the marketing of the book because it could be my fault, but I went into the book expecting this to be a thriller. There are no thrills. I'm just gonna put it out there. This is much more of a literary book that has a mystery as the plot point to like propel all of the topics that Liz Moore is wanting to like address in her novel. It's just like not what I was wanting it to, and that made me really not enjoy it, versus I think if I went into it expecting it to be that, I would have enjoyed it more. So I would kind of be interested to like revisit The God of the Woods later, maybe like a couple years down the road or something, and see if I like it more than my first read. I don't know. Number 22 on this list, Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, I have read. And not only have I read the first volume, I have read all of it. I'm up to date on Heartstopper, okay? I just one day was like, yeah, volume 3, 4, and 5 are available on Libby. Like, guess what I'm doing this weekend? And that's what I did that weekend. Number 23 on the list is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Malors, which I read in a previous update, as well as The Maid by Nita Prose, which is the first book in the Molly the Maid mystery series, which I read in a previous update as well. And that leaves us with book number 25 on my 25 books in 2025 list, and that is Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. And I have not read this book yet, but this is a similar reasoning to the Brandon Sanderson. This is a standalone book and not a series, but the Beartown series and the third book, The Winners, is a series, and I have not finished reading The Winners, so I feel like I can't read Anxious People yet because it feels like I'm just like skipping ahead and cheating myself. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I haven't read Anxious People, but I'm still very anxious to read Anxious People because I think it's going to be really good, and as we know, I love Fredrik Backman and his writing. That means that in total, I have read, let's do a little tally up. You already know because you can see it. I have read 18 of my 25 books in 2025, which is not bad. And I have read 4 since my last update, which is better than I was expecting, honestly, considering the slump. And as usual, I kind of forget about this list and I never reference it. When I do these videos, it's like the first time I've looked at these TBR lists, it's probably since the last time I did them. I just try to remember like in my head what I put on the list and like, could I just check the list? Sure, do I? No. I do think I have a hope of reading 3 books on this before the end of the year, which is The Winners, Reckless, and Intermezzo. I would also like to get either like maybe Anxious People if I'm being really ambitious. Okay, if I read The Winners really soon, then I'll be ready for another Fredrik Backman maybe before the end of the year, and I can read Anxious People around like Christmas time maybe. And then I also would like to start either The Hunger Games or The Trials of Apollo before the end of the year. I don't think it's like likely I'm going to finish all 25 books in 2025. Like I'm was initially hoping at the beginning of this year, just because it's like, guys, The Way of Kings is not happening. There's no way I'm reading that before the end of the year and then also reading other books. Like, your girl doesn't have that in her. In terms of just my general 2025 reading goals, I had a goal of reading 60 books, which I'm more than on track for. I think I'm currently reading like 55 or 56. I think I'm around like 55 or 56. By the end of the year, like, I'm easily going to be through 60 books, which is great. I didn't set 60 as like a super high, like unattainable, like I really have to work at it goal. I kind of like to pick something that I think is a little bit challenging, but still like very quite easily achievable, just so that I have something for those days when, you know, when you want to read, but it's the starting to read, like it's the initiation that's the issue. I find like having that reading goal is like useful for that. It's like the motivation to be like, but remember you wanted to get 60 books read. And then I'm like, you're right, me. I do want to read right now. Let me stop doom scrolling and pick up my book. I also wanted to read more nonfiction, which I feel like I've been doing quite well. I've read 3 nonfictions this year. As someone who before last year basically had read like no nonfiction, this is like a huge goal, okay? Great accomplishment. I'm kind of becoming a memoir person. Any other memoirs you think would be a really good read? Let me know. Okay. Thank you. I also wanted to read new to me genres. So I have read sci-fi now. I read The Martian. In terms of like other genres I was thinking about possibly exploring, I had horror and historical on this list. Those are both genres I have not really dived into at all. I mean, this would be a good time of year to attempt a horror book if I wanted to broaden my horizons that way or whatever. So I should probably look at that. I do like to try and read broadly, and there's just some genres that are just not as appealing to me as others, but it doesn't mean that I think I will never like a horror book, or I'll never like a historical book, I'll never like a sci-fi. I mean, I read The Martian and I liked it, so clearly like it's good that I try to go outside my comfort zone, but sometimes it's like just difficult to commit to the time it is to read a book for something that is more risky like that. In general, I have a really good idea of my taste and what I'm gonna like, and I can pick books pretty confidently knowing that I'm going to at least think this book is fine. And it's why I have such a high average rating for my reading every month. It's because like I don't like taking risks with my reading. If I don't think I'm gonna like a book, I'm just like, well, there's so many other books that I think I will like that I'm not gonna risk it on this one. I don't know, it's just like not what I do. And so sometimes stepping out into new genres I find quite difficult because of that, because I'm just like not a risk taker with my reading that way. I did also want to have a net negative on currently reading series, and I'm definitely not achieving this goal because I believe I had 21 on the go at the end of 2024, and I'm pretty sure I'm basically in the same place, if not worse. Let me just pull up my series reading spreadsheet and see where I'm at with this. Oh, I'm currently reading 20. Okay. Maybe I am doing okay with this then. Maybe I'm doing better than I thought. This is good to know. Okay, I feel better about myself. So as long as I can keep finishing series instead of starting too many more before the end of the year, I think I should be okay on that goal. And then my 5th reading goal for 2025, which is not gonna happen, guys. I wanted to read all the books on my yearly list, which is my 2023, 24, and 2025 TBRs, because I haven't read all the books from them yet. I think right now, like for 2023, left on the list I have The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson, which I actually am also reading this right now. So I guess technically I could cross this off the list because like I'm gonna finish that as well in the next few days. Then I have Babel by R.F. Kuang, which I still have not read, and Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, which I still have not read. And then for 24 books in 2024, I had left The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman, which I have actually read that, so I technically can cross that off the list. I had Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, have not read that. The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, have not read that. Ninth House by Lee Bardugo, I have not read. Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer, I have not read. And Mile High by Liz Tomford, which I have not read. Which means that between 23 and 2024, I have, 7 books left to read on those 2 lists. Plus the 7 on my 25 books in 2025 list. Yeah, so basically I feel like unless I want to only read the books on these lists until the end of the year, I'm not achieving the goal of reading all the books on this list. I would like to maybe get a couple more done, get a little bit closer. I don't plan on making 26 books in 2026 this year. This plan never works well for me, guys. I can't just keep making longer and longer lists as the years go on, because if I do that, I'll die with a TBR of like 300 books I haven't read probably, and I'll just still be every year like, I want to finish my 2023 TBR, and it'll be like 2032. Okay, I can't do that to myself. But that's my quarterly check-in. I don't know, I wish I was doing better overall, but given what my life has been between the last quarterly check-in and this quarterly check-in, I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be worse. So I don't know, I'm on the fence about how that is. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. If you happen to like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you. Let me know if you guys do these kind of check-ins or have your yearly TBRs, your yearly goals. How have you been doing? Hopefully it's better than me. I would love to know what other people do for their reading goals and such. I know I'm kind of a bit more of a like spreadsheet and data kind of person, probably the most when it comes to these things. I would love to know other people's approaches to that. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.